Alright, this is Nate back with Arn Reacts. I decided to make a video on the SOLLUMINATI versus Flight 1v1. Honestly, this is the best Christmas present I could ask for. Flight Reacts versus SOLLUMINATI. These two have been talking about a game for over a year now, but it really just never happened. Finally, SOLLUMINATI followed Flight back on Twitter or something, and now the game is back on. Minus Discod, the general consensus is that SOLLUMINATI has this game in the bag, but so far, it has been all opinion-based. So I'm going to break down both Flight and SOLLUMINATI's games to figure out who is favored and by how much. The first thing I did was to go through all of Flight React's 1v1s, which is honestly quite painful, and I recorded all of the stats. Flight Reacts shoots a lousy 20% from the field, 20.83% from mid-range, and 37.5% on layups. Now, it's sometimes difficult to tell the difference between a Flight React's mid-range shot and layups because he does this weird hook thing that's kind of in between layups and a mid-range shot, so I just did my best to judge between the two. Now, all of these stats clearly state that Flight cannot shoot to save his life, but what it does not illustrate is that Flight is actually getting a little bit better. I did not record the stats on this, but if you go back and look at his 1v1s with Lost and Unbound and then look at his newer ones, you can definitely tell he's getting better. Not much better, but better. After figuring out all of these stats, I calculated how many points he gets on each shot on average. He averages 0.4 points per shot on threes, 0.2083 points per shot on mid-range shots, and 0.375 points on layups. All I did to get those stats was multiply his percentage with the value of the shot. Anyways, after doing that, I calculated one final stat. I calculated his number of shots on average to get to 11 points, meaning if he only shot one type of shot, on average, how many shots would it take him to get to 11? Which is like the normal number for a one-on-one. It takes him 27.5 shots on average to get to 11 shooting all threes. 29.33 shots on layups, and 52.8 shots on mid-range shots. That means, on average, it would take him 52.8 shots in a one-on-one to get to 11 shooting only mid-range shots. The big takeaway is that Flight Reacts should never shoot another mid-range shot in his life. After looking at Flight Reacts, I moved my attention to SOLLUMINATI. For SOLLUMINATI, there's next to no footage of him on YouTube. There is a 1v1 and a couple of random clips. In the 1v1, he goes 3 for 6 on threes, 2 for 2 on mid-range shots, and 2 for 2 on layups. Now all this is great, but this is clearly not enough information, so I dug around and found his old high school stats. He was a bit of a beast in high school. He averaged 13.2 points per game and 9.3 rebounds on a team that went 20-4. He shot 47% from the field, which is a little bit better than Flight, 18% on threes, even though he didn't shoot many threes, and he was ranked 18th in the state of Michigan. His best game was against Glenn, scoring 23 points and leading his team to an 82-33 win. Obviously, he's not played basketball in a while, and his 40-inch vertical is gone, but he's still a threat off the dribble and has a great mid-range shot. To predict the game, you have to look at who Flight is played against, and who is the most similar to Flight, or who is the most similar that Flight Reacts has played to SOLLUMINATI. In my opinion, the best person that Flight has played against was Pretty Boy Fredo. Pretty Boy Fredo killed Flight 13-1. Cash Nasty, despite shooting terribly against Flight, is also a fair comparison because of his defensive abilities, even though SOLLUMINATI is the much better player compared to Cash Nasty. I honestly just don't think that Flight Reacts has played someone who is as tall and as athletic as himself, but still good at basketball. And as for SOLLUMINATI, he played that 6'5" college athlete in his 1v1. While I do not believe that was actually a college basketball player, he was the same height as Flight and better in almost every single way compared to Flight. And SOLLUMINATI killed him, and probably would have killed him by more if he had not hit a few lucky shots. If I was SOLLUMINATI and I wanted to hold Flight scoreless, I would pressure him. When Flight is pressured, he tends to panic and throw up weird mid-range hooks, and as we discussed earlier, he's terrible in the mid-range. If I were Flight, I would work on my three-pointer non-stop until the one-on-one, and then I would hope that I get lucky. Flight averages 4.83 points per 1v1, while his opponents average 10.33 points. Based off of this, and the fact that Flight has never played a YouTuber as good as SOLLUMINATI, I predict the final score to be 11-1. I think SOLLUMINATI will dominate him in every aspect, but I just have a feeling that Flight will get lucky and make a shot in there somewhere. Anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe. All of this would help me out a lot because currently I only have 20 subscribers, which is not that good. So it was very difficult actually to make this video, and I had to go through all of Flight React's 1v1s, which is not fun. If there's any types of videos that you would like me to make or any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. I read all of the comments and I respond to all of them. Anyways, thank you for watching.